Good evening, students. Welcome back. We are already given 3 to 4 lectures on gravitation, and we understand what is gravitational force with which the earth is attracting the objects towards itself. Last time we talked about two important things, students. What were those two important things? We talked of mass and weight, very important. You told me, student, you are so intelligent that you have been able to answer most of the questions, and you are the future doctors of the country, because country needs doctors. As you have seen, coronavirus spreading, and a lot of medical and health workers are required to help the people. So you are going to become doctors in the country, students, because your knowledge of science is very good. I have tested it and I have seen you get 100 out of 100 marks in large number of papers which you are appearing. I have tested your intelligence, very, very intelligent students, and you answered those questions. What is the difference between mass and weight? Before I begin my today's topic, I am giving you just small tips and questions, student. Tell me, what is the difference between mass and weight, student? This is an important question in the chapter of gravitation. We are always talking of mass, and second, you are talking of weight, student. You already are aware of this. What is the difference between mass and weight, student? Can mass change when you go to from Earth to Moon? Will your mass change or remain the same? Answer the question immediately. I have only 30 seconds for you. So will the mass be same when you go to the moon, or it will change? Tell me, students.
Sir, it will be same.
So same.
Same. Very good. Because mass is the quantity of matter contained in a body, and mass is a measure of the inertia of the body, that we already told you. And what happens to the weight, student? Your weight on moon will be same or it becomes less? How much we have calculated last time? What will be the weight on the moon, student? If you are, what will happen to your weight if the astronauts, when as soon as they land on moon, what happens? You have seen they are hopping, not walking. Why? The weight on moon was how much as compared to Earth? What was our calculation last time, student? Weight on moon is equal to, tell me, how much of the Earth? Weight on Earth. This is our weight. Let me say, I am talking of student. Tell me the answer of this. I have only 30 seconds for you. What is the weight on moon is equal to, students, weight on Earth. Complete it. This is a vacant space. How much value did you get? Weight on moon was equal to how much of weight on Earth? The value was calculated by you last time. What is your answer? Tell me, what was the answer, student? How much you calculated? Last time you have calculated the weight on moon was less than weight on Earth. How much was it? 1/6 of the weight on Earth. Is it right or wrong? Tell me. We have calculated this. So you said, sir, mass is the quantity of matter contained in a body and it is constant. It is constant, student. It is not going to change. But weight is the force with which the Earth is attracting towards its gravitational force. Due to the gravitational force of Earth is attracting the object toward itself, and the weight is acting vertically downward. Weight was acting where? Vertically downward. And you said weight is a force. Weight is nothing but force, which is W is equal to M into G. So weight is a force with which we are attracted by the Earth. Our weight on Earth depends on M into G. G is the acceleration due to gravity, students. And the value of G, what was the value of G which you calculated on Earth? Tell me the value of G, students. How much is that? 9.8. meter per second square. This is the value of G on earth, which we have shown the calculations in our previous lecture, students. I hope everything is clear to us. Okay. And this is the calculation which we have shown, that the weight of an object on moon is 1/6 the weight on the earth, student, that we are aware of it. And small quiz question for you, small quiz question for you. Here I am giving mass on object is 10 kg. What is the weight on the earth? Can you give me an answer? 1 minute is given to you, students, to answer the question number one. Mass of the object is how much? Mass of an object is 10 kg, student. What will be the weight on earth? Tell me what will be the value of the weight on earth, student. What is your answer? Tell me, student, what is your answer coming? What is your answer? What answer you are giving? I'm not able to listen to you. Give me the answer, students. How much is W? How much is W, students? What will be the value of W? M into G. What is the value of G? You already know. What is the value of G? So you have mass and G. Mass is 10 kg and G 9.8 meter per second square, student. So what you are getting? What is the answer coming, student? 98 kilo.
98 M.
How much? 98?
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct answer given by Anya. W is equal to 98 newtons. This was a small question which was given in the paper, student, so you could answer. This was question, answer one. Now the answer question number two is on the screen for you. An object weighs 10 Newton when measured on the surface of Earth. What would be its weight when measured on the surface of the moon, student? What is your answer? What is your answer, student? Question number two. Only 1 minute is given to you. Tell me. Object weighs 10 Newton when measured on surface of the Earth. On Earth, student. Your weight is how much? 10 Newton. Tell me what would be the weight. This is W1. I am saying what would be the weight on moon. I am saying what will be the weight. What is your answer, students? What is your answer? Give me the answer immediate. Not able to listen to you. Tell me the answer. You have calculated the weight on moon becomes how much? 1/6 into 10. So what is the value then, students? How much is that? Divide 10 by 6. 1.67 newtons. So you can see that the weight is going to depend on the force, gravitational pull of of, of the mass of the object which is attracting, and that we have shown you what is the relationship between G. G depends on G into M by R square, mass divided by the radius. So this calculations we have already done for you. So you have confidence in that. You can easily solve. We're going to the next now. Next, see on the screen, we have very important topic today, student. And that topic is thrust and pressure, student. Thrust and pressure. Thrust. I'm talking of two things. And pressure today. You are aware that there is a force with which, if you are standing, you are there is a force which is attracting us. That force which is equal to the weight of the object, So we are aware there is a force, student. There is a force. We are aware of the force. But what happens? The same force. If the same force you are aware of, I'm saying there is a force. You see, you are aware of the force. There is a force which is acting on a particular area. If the same force acts on a smaller area, what happens? What happens? You can see that the effect of the force, what I'm trying to say, the effect of force is different if the area of contact, the area of contact means the area on which force is applied. The area on which force is applied is different. Effect of force is different if area of contact is different. That means, students, that if you have applying a force, if I am supposing applying a force, student, this is consider this is an object, this is an object here, student, and you are applying a force, you are applying a force on smaller area. Now I'm saying that you are applying the same force on a bigger area, on a bigger area, on a bigger area. So what will happen? The effect will be same or different? That is our question, students. What I'm saying, that I am applying a force F on this smaller area, and then I am applying the same force on a bigger area. This area is bigger, as you can see, on a bigger area. Tell me, will the effect of the force be same? Will the effect of force will be same, student? Will the effect of the force be same? Will the effect of the force will be same? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm talking of the effect of force. When I change the area, when I change the area on which the force is applied, students, the answer is that the effect will be different.
Yes,
Effect
sir,
will
it will
be
change.
same or different? Tell me, what is your answer? For example, students,
Sir, it will change.
it will change. It will be different. It will be different. The thing is, students, I am trying to give some examples of this, that you have knives at home, and you know that they are sharp at the edges. They are sharp at the edges. Yes or no? Why? Otherwise, you won't be able to cut your vegetables. What you are doing with a knife, student? You are cutting your vegetables. You are cutting your vegetables with a knife, student. You see the blades. The blades, they have sharp edges. They have sharp edges. If they have broad edges, what will happen? Broad edges, and try to cut the vegetables. You are applying the same force, student, same force, but the effect is different. Effect is different. And so there are two things which we want to talk. You have seen, students. Here is a picture. You have seen, this is a army tank. What I have shown here, army tank. Okay? And you know what is the weight of the army tank? The weight of army tank is very large, in tons. The weight of the army tank is tons. Weight means the force with which it is being attracted on the ground. The force which it is applying on the ground is in tons. Force is equal to what? Your force, m into g, So the weight of this tank is in tons, the army which uses. But if you see that the wheels, you don't have see the wheels here. There are wheels inside. See, the wheels are inside. These wheels. Do you see that? But what is outside? This. What is this? You see what is important here? What you are seeing? There is a belt, student. There is a belt which there is a continuous chain. This is a continuous chain or a belt. Did you see that? Have you seen this?
Yes, sir.
What is our why we are doing it, students? You are applying a force on the ground, student, because there's a tons of weight. There's a force. This is applying a very large amount of force on the ground. Large amount of force is acting vertically downward. Large amount of force is, your weight. Your weight is a force. Weight is a force, and it is acting vertically downward. You know about that? And if the
Yes,
weight
sir.
is very large, the force is very large. What will happen? If I use the wheels, then there will be, it will be, what will happen? It will depress the earth to a large extent. It will get inside the earth. It will get inside the earth and get struck. So what it will do with the ground? Your ground, which is earth, student. This is your ground. If you put a very large weight, what will happen? This will go inside the earth. This will go inside the earth. You can see that. So what we are doing then, we are increasing the area of the contact by using a belt, student. What we have done is we have increased the area over which the force is acting, over which force is acting. I hope you understand. When I have increased the area of the contact on which the force is acting, the tank is able to move. The tank is able to move on the ground. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have seen, next thing. Let me give more examples. Student, you have seen the tire of your bicycle. You have a bicycle? Yes or no? Tell me. You have a bicycle? What is the tire of your bicycle is thin? Thin. Okay? But if you see that tire of a truck or a bus, tell me, are they thin? Are they thin, students?
No, sir.
Then they are wider. Why do we make those tires wide, students? Tell me why they are wide. Bus has a very large weight. It has weight. Therefore, the force it is exerting on earth is very large. Yes or no? Tell me. Keep on interacting with me. Keep,
Yes, sir.
because that way we will learn, student. Lot of energy. We need energy to teach you. You also need energy. Tell me why the tires of the buses and trucks are wider than the tire of your bicycle. What is happening? What is it? If the tire is wide, but you are increasing the area of contact is increased, same force is acting. Force is same, but the area on which the force is acting has been increased. So therefore the result is the bus is not falling down, but it is not getting inside the ground. It is able to move. Truck is able to move. But if your truck and bike, if your truck or a bus has a tire which are thin like your bicycle, what will happen? What will happen? Tell me. The force is acting on a smaller area. Force is acting on a smaller area. And then it will fall down. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
You understood my point, student. Therefore, what we have tried to show, student, two things here. One thing which I want to introduce is a thrust, student. Thrust is a force exerted by an object perpendicular to a surface. What I'm saying, what is thrust? Thrust is nothing but a force. Is a force which is exerted by an object, student, perpendicular to the surface. Perpendicular to the surface, student. What do you mean by this, student? What do you mean by this? This is a surface. Supposing this is a surface. Let it be any surface, cardboard or anything. If a force is acting on this, student, if a force is acting at, this is a 90-degree angle. So when a force is acting perpendicular to this surface, what do we call this as? Thrust. What do you call this as? Thrust, students. Got it? What is the difference between force and thrust? Same. Thrust is a force, but it is acting vertically downward, perpendicular to the surface. Perpendicular to the surface on which the force is acting, student. That is called thrust. Now we are aware that if the same force is applied on a larger area, the effect is more or less. Tell me, effect is more or less. Keep on interacting, keep on answering the question, students, with me. If the
Sir,
same,
it is less.
less, very good answer given by Anya. You are started thinking, student, if the same force is applied on a bigger area, its effect is less. But if the same force is applied on a smaller area, its effect is more. Yes or no? There
Yes, sir.
define a new term which is called pressure, student. That is why the pressure is given. The pressure is defined now. What is the pressure, student? Pressure is the force per unit area. Pressure is defined as force per unit area, or here I am talking of a thrust. Thrust is nothing but a force which is perpendicular to the surface. So we define a new term, student. Pressure. Thrust is the force exerted by an object perpendicular to the surface. Pressure is defined as the thrust or force per unit area. The formula of the pressure is before you on the screen, student. I hope you have noted down. You have noted down, students? I hope
Yes, sir.
there is a need of the pressure, so we have defined it. Because pressure will tell us, the more the pressure, that means the force is acting on a smaller area, same force acting on a smaller area has more pressure, and same force acting on a bigger area has less pressure. What we have shown here, pressure is directly proportional to the force, and pressure is inversely proportional to the area. Got it? A is my area. A is my area. Okay? If I increase the area, students, then what will happen? The pressure will be less. And in everyday life, I have shown you so many examples. The why you have sharp edges in the knife, students, because if the edges are sharp, the area of contact becomes less, and the pressure is more. Pressure is more, student, and they are able to cut your vegetables. These these tanks, you see, they have to go and they have to be move on the ground. They have to move on the ground. Their weight is very high. Weight is very high. Force is very high. So what will happen if the area of contact will become small? Then it will just not be able to walk on the earth or not able to move on the earth. It will get inside the earth. मिट्टी दब जाएगी उसके अंदर गड्ढा बन जाएगा उसके अंदर चले जाएगा इसी तरह same thing I told you about your buses and trucks and heavy vehicles what happens there students their tires are very broad and wider why they are wider than your bicycle tires otherwise they will fall down and they will go inside the earth the pressure they will apply will be very large if the area is less so we are increasing the area of contact so pressure becomes less and they are able to smoothly run on the roads which we have made for them. So you got my point, students? Tell me. And what
Yes, sir.
are nails, iron nails? You have seen iron nails, students? आपने iron nails देखे? Let me rub it and give something more because the application part is very important, student. Application part is very important, student. That's what we have to understand. The gravitation chapter is very important because the applications are in everyday life, student. That's what we are trying to explain to you. If you have doubt, you can stop me and you can give your examples, no problem. So here we are introducing two things today. One is the force acting perpendicular to the surface, which you are saying is thrust. And then the pressure is force per unit area, student. The force, same force acting on a smaller area will exert more pressure. And the same force acting on bigger area will exert less pressure. So that is important point, students. You got it. And examples we are giving to you. Few more examples are on the screen, which we are going to talk with you, student, to understand what is the implication of this pressure. Why do we need pressure, student? Everything exerts a pressure. If you are standing on a loose sand, then the depression will be there on the sand. If you lie down on the sand, the force is the same, but the area has increased. So there will be less depression on the sand. Yes or no? Got it? That there is a loose sand.
Yes, sir.
You are on a beach on a loose sand, you stand, you find that what happens, there is a depression in the sand. And if you lie down, your force is same, your weight is not changing, student, your weight is there. M into G. So what will happen? Your force is now acting on a bigger area and you see less depression in the sand. Did you see that ever? If you don't see, when you go to the beaches, you try it and you will see it, student. You see it. So students, what you are saying, students, very, very important things. Okay, so far so good. All right. So what we have today introduced to you, you have seen I have been talking of pressure. Pressure is very important. Student, you say that pressure is a thrust or force per unit area. And if you have seen iron nails, student, iron nails, how the iron nails look like, you see that. These are pointed, these are sharp edge, sharp points. Okay? If you have a cardboard or if you have a piece of wood, you are applying a force on this, you are applying a force on this with a hammer. This is my hammer, this is my hammer, which I have shown here, hammer. See the hammer, I'm striking this hammer. This is my hammer, hammer, student. I'm applying hammer on this. You can see nail. This is where have a pointed tip. It has a pointed tip. It has a pointed tip, student. And what happens? It will pierce inside. It will pierce inside. Yes or no? It goes inside when you apply a force.
Yes.
But if it had broader edges like this, if I have supposing something like this, student, if this edge is broader like this, and you are applying the same force, what will happen, students? This is our cardboard. You are applying the same force. This force is same, this force is F. Now what will happen? This is the area of contact here is less. Area of contact is less, student. Here area of contact is more. Area of contact more. So you will see it will not pierce inside the cardboard. So the pressure here, the pressure is force per unit area. So here the pressure is more. The pressure here is P1. Here the pressure is P2. So I can say that P1 is greater than P2. Yes or no? Because the area of contact is less. Here the area of contact is more. Yes or no, students? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
By carpenters working, you have seen these iron nails always have sharp edges. Knives have sharp edges. The army tanks have got belts to increase the area. Otherwise, the pressure will be very high on the ground and it will just get inside the ground. You see the purpose of belt? You see the purpose of big tires in the buses and in the trucks and in heavy vehicles. You have seen railway tracks, students. Railway tracks. बताइए आपने रेलवे ट्रैक्स देखे कभी? Did you ever?
Yes, sir.
ये ट्रेन के स्टेशन पर आपने रेलवे ट्रैक्स देखे स्टूडेंट्स? ट्रैक्स क्या होते हैं? ब्रॉड होते हैं? बोलो, ये जो ट्रैक्स होते हैं वो कैसे होते हैं? ब्रॉड होते हैं? यस और नो? यहाँ पे देखो, मैं एक डायग्राम दिखा रहा हूं. ये आप ट्रैक्स देख रहे हैं? दिख रहा है तुम्हें? बोलो, ये ट्रैक दिख रहा है? यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
ब्रॉड है, इसके साथ में देखा तुमने एक ट्रैक बना हुआ है. ये देखो, दो चीजें यहाँ पे दिख रही है मुझे स्टूडेंट. यू कैन सी देयर आर वुडन पीसेस, वुडन पीसेस. और यहाँ पे क्या दिख रहा है? एक रोड सी दिख रही है. वो कच्ची, वो रोड़ी सी होती है ना, रोड़ी सी. देखा है? वो दोनों तरफ पड़ी होती है. जब आप ट्रेन में बैठे कभी बाहर देखना, झांकना, वो रोड़ी सी पड़ी होती है. तो यहाँ पर हम क्या कर रहे हैं? ट्रेन का तो वेट बहुत ज्यादा होता है. बोलो, है या नहीं? ट्रेन का वेट ज्यादा है कम है? जल्दी बताओ. बहुत ज्यादा है. तो उसके नीचे व्हील्स चल रहे हैं ट्रैक के ऊपर, तो इसका तो फोर्स बहुत ज्यादा होगा. ठीक है? फोर्स क्या होगी? बहुत ज्यादा होगी ट्रेन की ग्राउंड के ऊपर जो एक्सर्ट कर रही है. यस और नो? जल्दी बताओ, मेरे साथ बातें करते रहो. ज्यादा है?
Yes, sir.
उसका एरिया ऑफ कांटेक्ट कम हो जाएगा तो क्या होगा? वो तो व्हील्स फिर दबा देंगे, उसको दब जाएंगे. तो उनको ब्रॉड, ये ब्रॉड दिया गया है रोड, और साथ में ये देख रहे हैं ये लगे हुए हैं. वो एक तरीके से ट्रैक से बने हुए हैं, जिससे क्या होता है कि ये जो रेलवे ट्रैक्स होते हैं दे आर ब्रॉडर, सो द एरिया एरिया जो है हमने इंक्रीज कर दिया है कांटेक्ट का, तो एरिया इंक्रीज हो गया, तो प्रेशर जो ट्रेन एक्सर्ट कर रही है स्टूडेंट, द प्रेशर एक्सर्टेड बाय द ट्रेन ऑन द ग्राउंड विल बिकम लेस और मोर। जल्दी बताओ, तो इसका प्रेशर क्या हो गया ग्राउंड पर, जो ट्रेन प्रेशर लेस हुआ या ज्यादा हुआ या कम हुआ, जल्दी बताओ, क्या आंसर किया,
सर कम हुआ।
लेस हो गया। अरे सच है, इंटेलिजेंट चिल्ड्रन, लेस हो गया, इसीलिए ही तो वो चलती रही उसके ऊपर ट्रैक पर, तो ट्रेन आराम से स्मूथली चल रही है। अगर प्रेशर बहुत हाई हो गया तो उसी में दब जाएगी, ग्राउंड दब जाएगा। तो देयरफॉर यू कैन सी दैट द एप्लीकेशंस ऑफ द प्रेशर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो प्रेशर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टूडेंट, प्रेशर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो यहाँ पर जब हम कोई भी फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं, जब वो कम एरिया पे अप्लाई होती है, व्हेन वी अप्लाई द सेम फोर्स ऑन लेस एरिया, इट हैज अ बिगर इफेक्ट, उसका प्रेशर ज्यादा हो जाता है। यही हमने आपको दिखाया है। तो थ्रस्ट क्या होती है, फोर्स एक्टिंग परपेंडिकुलर ऑन ए सरफेस इज कॉल्ड द थ्रस्ट। कोई भी सरफेस है, कोई भी सरफेस है स्टूडेंट, ये एक सरफेस है जिसके ऊपर फोर्स एक्ट कर रही है। देखिए दिस इज सरफेस, इसके ऊपर मैंने कोई फोर्स अप्लाई की है, फोर्स यहाँ पे कोई फोर्स अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, फोर्स अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट मैं यहाँ पर। तो ये जो फोर्स मैं अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट, ये 90 डिग्री का एंगल बना रही है यहाँ पर, परपेंडिकुलर का मतलब 90 डिग्री का। तो ऐसी जो परपेंडिकुलर फोर्स होती हैं उनको हम थ्रस्ट कहते हैं, उन्हें हम थ्रस्ट कहते हैं। तो ये जो फोर्स है ये परपेंडिकुलर टू द सरफेस है, इसको हमने क्या बोला, थ्रस्ट। तो दोनों डेफिनेशन क्लियर हो गई स्टूडेंट्स, बोलो क्लियर हो गई, कोई डाउट है, बोलो कोई डाउट।
नो डाउट सर।
एक्सीलेंट। अब इसके लिए एक न्यूमेरिकल आपके सामने आ गया, एक क्वेश्चन हमने दिया आपको, जिसे ये फाइंड करना है हमने कि बताओ कि प्रेशर कितना एक्सर्ट हो रहा है। देखो हम ये कह रहे हैं कि ए ब्लॉक ऑफ वुड इज केप्ट ऑन ए टेबल टॉप। क्वेश्चन पढ़िए और आपको 1 मिनट का वक्त मिला है, इसको आंसर करके बताइए मुझे, आंसर करके बताइए कि ये क्वेश्चन क्या है, इसको पढ़ लीजिए और इसका आंसर करना है स्टूडेंट। एक न्यूमेरिकल हम कर रहे हैं इन ऑर्डर टू एक्सप्लेन द प्रेशर, थ्रस्ट एंड प्रेशर स्टूडेंट्स। We already proved the same force acting on a smaller area exerts larger pressure and smaller pressure on a larger area. That we have proved to you students by these large number of examples which we have given to you. A block of wood is kept on a tabletop. The mass of wooden block is 5 kg. एक वुडन ब्लॉक मेरे को दिया स्टूडेंट, एक वुडन ब्लॉक मेरे पास है, क्या है मेरे पास, वुडन ब्लॉक है, उसका मास कितना स्टूडेंट, 5 kg। ठीक है, एंड इट्स डायमेंशंस आर 40 सेंटीमीटर, 40 सेंटीमीटर इंटू 20 सेंटीमीटर इंटू 10 सेंटीमीटर। कहने का मतलब ये है, ये ऐसे दिख रहा है मुझे बॉक्स स्टूडेंट, ये 40 20 है और ये 10 है ऊपर। तो यहाँ पर एक इस तरह का ब्लॉक है मेरे पास, ये एक ब्लॉक ऑफ वुडन है, 40 20 और 10 इस तरह की इसकी डायमेंशन है। अब इसको टेबल टॉप पे रखना है स्टूडेंट, टेबल टॉप पे रखना है। वो कह रहा है ऑन द टेबल टॉप विथ साइड डायमेंशंस 20 एंड 10 सेंटीमीटर, 20 एंड 10 सेंटीमीटर। तो पहले केस में 20 और ए केस में इसको टेबल टॉप पे आपने रखना है 20 एंड 10 सेंटीमीटर। ए केस में क्या कैसे रखा गया टेबल पर, विद इट्स साइड्स ऑफ डायमेंशन 20 और 10 के हिसाब से रखा गया। 20 और 10 का मतलब क्या हुआ स्टूडेंट, ये मेरा 20 है, ये मेरा 10 है और ये 40 है, ऐसे रखा है मैंने। ठीक है, ऐसे मैंने रखा स्टूडेंट पहले टेबल टॉप पे, ये टेबल का टॉप है, ये मेरा टेबल टॉप है, ये वाला। तो ये समझ में आया, ये मेरा टेबल है स्टूडेंट्स। तो टेबल टॉप पर ऐसे रखा है, तो बताओ कि इसके ऊपर कितना प्रेशर है, इसका प्रेशर निकालना है। और फिर मैंने इसको 40 और 20 सेंटीमीटर के हिसाब से रखा, मतलब लिटा दिया, इसको लिटा दिया स्टूडेंट ऐसे 40 और 20 पे। तो फिर इसका प्रेशर निकालो, तो बताओ कितना कितना प्रेशर आ रहा है स्टूडेंट। आपके पास 1 मिनट का टाइम है और आपको मिल गया न्यूमेरिकल एग्जाम के अंदर स्टूडेंट। न्यूमेरिकल हमें हेल्प करते हैं, फिजिक्स में बहुत हेल्प आते हैं स्टूडेंट्स। तो P1 क्या है, फोर्स डिवाइडेड बाई एरिया। तो फोर्स कितनी है हमारे पास, फोर्स कितनी है स्टूडेंट, 5 kg मास की फोर्स कितनी होगी बताओ। m इंटू जी स्टूडेंट, जी की वैल्यू तुम्हें पता ही है कितनी होती है, 5 kg इंटू 9.8 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर है। ठीक है, तो फोर्स तो दोनों में सेम ही लगा रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स, हम सेम फोर्स अप्लाई करें। कितने आ गया ये, इनको मल्टीप्लाई करके कितना आया स्टूडेंट्स फोर्स, ये एरिया A1 कह रहा हूं मैं, कितना आया ये फोर्स, 5 kg इंटू
सर 49N।
9। बिल्कुल करेक्ट आंसर। आन्या तुम्हारा कमाल कर दी तुमने, 1 मिनट में आंसर कर दिया। ये आ गया 9 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाई एरिया कितना आया इसका, एरिया कितना आया स्टूडेंट। अब देखो कि यूनिट देख लेना, ये सेंटीमीटर में दिए हुए हैं, ये सेंटीमीटर है स्टूडेंट। एक चीज ख्याल रखना एग्जाम के अंदर जब कोई चीज आती है, और यहाँ पे हम कौन से यूनिट कर रहे हैं, मीटर। तो सेंटीमीटर शुड बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू मीटर स्टूडेंट। तो 10 को, ये 20 सेंटीमीटर है तो 20/100 मीटर हुआ, और ये क्या हुआ 10/100 मीटर। तो अब आंसर
सर 0.02 मीटर स्क्वायर।
ठीक है। तो प्रेशर कितना आया यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट्स, कितना प्रेशर आया स्टूडेंट पहले केस में।
सर 2450 न्यूटन मीटर स्क्वायर।
2420 न्यूटन, ठीक है। और ये आया मीटर -2। तो ये पहले केस का आया प्रेशर। अब सेकंड केस का निकालिए प्रेशर स्टूडेंट P2। फोर्स तो सेम है, अब एरिया डिफरेंट है। तो फोर्स तो वही है हमारे पास 49 न्यूटन। अब एरिया कितना होगा, 40/20 है, तो कितना आया 40/100 इंटू 20/100 मीटर स्क्वायर हो गया। तो प्रेशर P2 कितना आया सेकंड केस में स्टूडेंट्स, what is the pressure we are getting in the second case students।
सर 612.5 न्यूटन मीटर पर स्क्वायर।
correct answer given by Anya, that is absolutely right। so what is the conclusion, tell me students, what is your conclusion। in the first case area of contact was more or less, tell me, in first case the area of contact was more or less students, here this area is less, force is same, force is same, therefore pressure is more or less, pressure more, clear। same force acting on a smaller area, the pressure increases, this is less, you can see, because the area was more, area was more। is it clear from this example students, what we have to tell you, are you sure, what you understand, what is thrust, what is pressure।
Yes, sir.
so if you will apply the same force on a smaller area, pressure will be more, this is our conclusion। And if you will apply the same force on larger area, the pressure will be less, right? So that is why in our the applications in our daily life are very important in the topic of gravitation. So we are trying to give you large examples to show the meaning of this. I hope you have got it. So can we proceed further, students? This concept is clear to us. Thrust and pressure. Examples have been given. Now we are moving further, student. Another important thing, students. Now I'm saying there first pressure in the fluid, student. Pressure in the fluid. What do you mean by pressure in the fluid, student? Pressure in fluids. Just now we told you, you have one solid, you are putting another solid, they are applying pressure. Applying pressure. Now I'm saying there is a pressure in the fluid, student. What are fluids, student? Tell me first. What are fluids? First thing. What is a fluid, student? Tell me, what is a fluid? What is a fluid? What is your answer, student? What is a fluid? What?
Sir, all liquids and gases are fluids.
Anything which can flow, you can say which can flow, or which flows, which flows. What flows, student? You are saying very good. You are saying liquids and gases. Both are flowing. Liquids flow, yes or no? And gases,
Yes, sir.
particles of the gases, they are moving everywhere, everywhere. That means they are also exerting a pressure. Is it true? Do they exert a pressure, student? Is there a thrust in the liquid? They are exerting a pressure. That is why. So if solids exert pressure on a surface due to its weight, you are saying solid exerted pressure on a surface. We have seen it due to its weight. Due to its weight. Due to its weight. Weight is your force. Due to its weight, students. Yes or no? Weight is the W is equal to M into G, which is also the force. Okay? So solids, bus standing on a ground is exerting a pressure on the ground, exerting a pressure because it has a weight. It has a weight. That is the force with which is attracting by the gravitational force of Earth. Yes or no? Keep on talking with me. Keep on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So we are not sleeping students. We have energy. We need energy to teach student. I work so hard to give my lesson best to you, and you should be sharing it with your friends. And these videos should go everywhere so students can understand the basic concepts what we are talking about. So we are saying now liquids also have pressure, student, and but liquid pressure, how we will be able to measure, student? Only when we will put it in a container. A liquid, you have to put liquid in a container to see the pressure or the we are saying fluid. There is a thrust, fluid thrust. So you have to put a liquid or a gas in a container to see that it has a pressure. So what we have shown here, because this is a container, this is a container. In this I have a liquid, I have a liquid. Liquid is made up of particles, liquid is made up of molecules. Water is made up of what? Water is made up of water molecules. So these molecules are what doing what? You can see they are exerting a force. They are exerting a force on the walls and on the downward. Every part of the container in which they are put, they are exerting a force. So they are exerting a force, student. And why? Because they have a weight. They have a weight. So they are exerting a downward force because they have a weight, student. They have a weight. So liquids exert pressure on the walls of the container. So if I take a liquid, student, in a container, student, then what will happen? This will exert a pressure. Yes or no? The liquid will exert a pressure because these particles of the liquid, they are colliding with the walls of the container. They are colliding with the walls of the container. They are colliding with this. So the earth is attracting them downward by a gravitational force. So they have a weight, student. They have a weight. They have a force. Force is due to the weight, student. And because of that, they will have a pressure. They will have a pressure and they will exert equal pressure on all the things. All this side, there is a pressure of the liquid in the container. So fluids have weight. Fluids have weight, so they exert a pressure. Yes or no? You are saying fluids have weight and they exert a pressure. Clear? True? True or false? Tell me. True? True or false, student? Tell me.
Sir, true.
Okay, liquids are exerting a pressure because they have a weight, student. As soon as you will put them in a container, you will see there is a pressure on the base and walls of the container in which they are enclosed. So pressure exerted in any confined mass of fluid is transmitted. So this pressure is transmitted by the liquid. This pressure is transmitted by the liquid in all the directions. By the liquid, student, in all directions, equally in all the directions. So they are exerting pressure, which I say undiminished pressure. Undiminished pressure is exerted, student, in all the directions. Here we have shown. So how what happens, student? How will we show? Can we do an activity? Can we do an activity to prove this, student? Activity to show the liquids have pressure. Liquids have pressure, student. Can we do an activity? Can we do an activity, student? The liquids exert a pressure, student. You can do what, student? You can take a water bottle. Here is a your here is some container, plastic bottle or something like that. Supposing this is my plastic bottle, student. I take water in it. ठीक है? What it contains? Water. If you make a hole in this, student, what happens? The water will start coming out. Water comes out. Tell me. If you make a hole here, what happens? Water will come out. Why?
Yes, sir.
Why the water comes out? Because there is a pressure exerted by these top layers, because they have a weight, because there is a weight on this liquid. Because of the pressure, what happens? And then it comes to a particular level. Here, if I put something, it will come like this. So if you make a hole, there is a leakage of the water, student. The leakage of why the water will leak from a bottle to the outside, because the pressure here is more, pressure here is more. There is a pressure because there is a weight pressure is force per unit area. There is a weight of the liquid which is exerted and the water starts coming out. Therefore, liquid exert pressure on the walls of the container, and the pressure exerted by the liquid at the bottom of the container depends on the height. This pressure exerted, student, this pressure exerted by the liquid at the bottom depends on the height of the column or weight. It depends on what? It depends on the weight, and the weight will depend on the height. Weight will depend on the height of the column. Height of the column, student. What I'm trying to say here is an experiment, student, activity. Pressure is again the same, thrust per unit area. What is pressure? Thrust per unit area. Yes or no? Pressure is a thrust per unit area. Correct or wrong? Tell me. Now, if I consider it is see that here I have a container, student, container which contains water, and you are making holes in it, student. One here, there, one here, and one. Here is a connection actually which I can open and close. I have made a connection 1, 2, 3. I can open A, B, and C. When I open C, student, you can see the liquid comes out and it is coming at this point. C. B is going where, student? B is falling here. And C is traveling farther more. And C is falling here. See that? See the distance traveled by the water when they are falling. Do you see that? In which case it is more? Where water is traveling more? Lower side. Why? What it shows? This shows that the pressure is different at point C, pressure is different at point B, and pressure is different at point A. Tell me at which point the pressure is greatest, student. A, B or C? Tell me where the pressure is more. Pressure of A is more or B is more or C is more? Tell me, student.
So A.
Very good answer. The pressure of A is more than pressure of B is more than pressure of C. Why, students? Why, students? Now the question is why. As you go deeper inside the sea, the pressure increases. Anywhere, as you go deeper and deeper, the pressure will increase, because the you see the liquid is, these liquids is exerting a weight on this. What is happening? This, the liquid here the liquid is, there is a weight of the liquid above it. So this is a weight of the liquid, student, which is above it. So here you can see that more weight is being exerted on this liquid. More weight is exerted here. There is, therefore pressure is force per unit area, thrust per unit area. The force is more here. Force is more, area is same. So as you go deeper down the sea, students, what will happen? As the height will increase, student, the pressure will increase. The pressure will increase. As you dive deeper and deeper, the pressure will increase, student. The pressure will increase down the sea, down anywhere, because the weight, upper layers are exerting a weight on the lower layer, and because of that the force is more. When the force is more, the pressure will increase. The pressure will increase. Therefore you can say that this water is going to a much longer distance as compared to these two, because pressure is more here. Pressure more, student. Pressure more. So the water will go to a longer distance when it is leaked. आपने देखा है, समटाइम्स यू हैव सीन द लीकेज ऑफ द पाइप, स्टूडेंट. लीकेज ऑफ द पाइप, तो अगर प्रेशर बहुत हाई है, पानी कहाँ जाता है आपके घर में, पाइप बर्स्ट हो गई तो इट विल गो एंड फॉल टू ए लॉन्गर डिस्टेंस, तो सारे घर में पानी बिखर जाता है. तो यहाँ पर क्या शो हुआ, स्टूडेंट, कि जो फ्लूइड्स होते हैं दे एक्सर्ट ए प्रेशर. तो ये एक्टिविटी हमने जो की थी, ये एक्टिविटी हमने 3 कनेक्शंस बनाए थे, एंड वन बाय वन वी हैव ओपनड इट एंड वी सी द वाटर फॉलिंग फ्रॉम दिस. The leakage of the water of the pipe is also example of that. That fluids have pressure, fluids exert pressure, student, and this pressure will depend on the height of the column. जितनी हाइट बढ़ जाएगी उतना प्रेशर बढ़ जाएगा, because the weight of the liquid will increase, student, as you go deeper and deeper. तो वो weight बढ़ गया तो force will be more. Therefore pressure is thrust per unit area or force per unit area. With same area, force is more, the liquid will come with a greater pressure. तो प्रेशर बढ़ेगा तो लिक्विड और भी दूर गिरेगा, जो कि हमने इस एक्सपेरिमेंट में, इस एक्टिविटी में दिखाया है, स्टूडेंट्स. तो आपको समझ में आई, स्टूडेंट्स, कि जो लिक्विड्स होते हैं वो भी प्रेशर एक्सर्ट करते हैं, तो उनके पास भी एक प्रेशर है. और यहाँ पर इस एक्सपेरिमेंट से हमने प्रूव किया कि लिक्विड्स का जो प्रेशर है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द वेट ऑफ द लिक्विड्स. तो वेट ऑफ द लिक्विड बढ़ जाएगा तो प्रेशर विल आल्सो इंक्रीज. तो यहाँ पर इसके बारे में हम और भी स्टडी करेंगे कि व्हाट आर द फैक्टर्स दैट अफेक्ट द फ्लूइड प्रेशर. कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं जिसके ऊपर ये प्रेशर डिपेंड करता है. दिस डिपेंड्स ऑन द डेप्थ ऑफ द फ्लूइड एंड आल्सो द डेंसिटी ऑफ द फ्लूइड. ये डेंसिटी के ऊपर भी डिपेंड करता है कि उसका प्रेशर कितना होगा. तो वही सारी बातें हम स्टडी करेंगे, स्टूडेंट्स. तो आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड द लेक्चर टुडे. What we have been able to tell you, what is pressure, what is thrust, and what are the pressure in the fluid, students, and the applications of these. Any doubts, students? Tell me. Any doubts?
No, sir.
All right, then we'll meet you in our next class, which will be more fascinating than this. And we always say, students, you keep on interacting, keep on learning, keep on answering questions and asking questions, and always share our videos with your friends so that they can, our YouTube lectures are free for all the students. So our purpose is to give free education to all the students. Therefore, we want that you should be able to share and subscribe our channel to get more and more videos on science of all classes. Therefore you can become future doctors of the country and help people in controlling the corona disease, which is increasing in our city. You know that the number of cases are increasing, students, and there is a warning from the health department of pollution also. So you are the future doctors. I thank you very much, and I will meet you in my next class. Bye bye. Okay.